Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back. This time around, it's a Hot Wheels Nissan Skyline GTR R32. Good morning, good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Thanks a lot for taking another look at one of these videos. Before I start, apologies for the long spell in making these videos again. I am slowly getting there, and I know you're all thinking, yeah, he said this before, but with all this big hoo-ha over Copa, I thought I'd quickly address this. At the time, I knew it would be another fart in a teacup when it all came about. And actually 2 days into it, I was actually in London and I went to YouTube and Google itself to see what they had to say. And this is what I was met with. That's right, they didn't have a clue what I was talking about. I noticed at the time there was a lot of videos popping up. They've got thousands, hundreds of thousands of comments, watches, all sorts going on about it, and they were coming from our US brothers and sisters. So I thought maybe it's just taking a little bit of time getting over to the UK, but nevertheless I went to them myself to see what the crack was. I actually looked at all the jargon behind it all and not listened to little snippets people were putting in these videos, and actually read it myself. And lo and behold, there is a full grey area of what is actually right for kids and what is not right for kids and all the rest of it. And the main point I'm getting to is I am not worried at all, and you guys shouldn't be worried either. The only thing that would ever change on this channel is not the content, not me, I'll say the regularity of me putting them out, because I need to get a bit quicker on that, but the content would not change, and the only thing that could possibly change is comments would go. So on that front, if that ever did happen, which I don't think it would, there's never been a better time to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and you can make any comments and suggestions and anything you want to do on the videos that I've done here in case it gets switched off. But that's the only thing that will change. The content won't change. I'll still make videos. I'm not going to go and throw it all in the air like I've seen so many other channels, not diecast channels, but other people that have made these copper videos, however you want to pronounce it. I won't be doing that. I'll still remain doing it. But why I have gone silent, because I went, at the time, it was the 19th of November, just as the shitstorm flew up in the air. I'm swearing a bit on this video as well. It's not child friendly. But I went there anyway, and I took a little bit of a step back, because one thing, and is what I'm getting onto now, is this, and you may have seen it in my little opening credits there, is I've had a little bit of a change of heart about where I was going to go. And I'm going to explain that right now. So for a number of reasons, which you'll probably find out on my bio on my website now as to my modelling history, I've sort of put off not wanting to do any of these decals for anybody. But I suppose the demand now turning a lot of people away through my Instagram channels, my Facebook, my YouTube channels. I've decided, you know what, I'm going to go full steam ahead with it and do it properly. So I'm going to do full white toner decals on blue back paper to make it nice and easy for you. And I've started with some generic sponsors of a range of different brands. And then I'll get on to doing car specific ones as well. My aim is to do new uploads every couple of days. Every week at least there'll be a few going up onto the website, so it's a starter anyway. So that's my new venture. It's SK75 Works. I'll put some links in the description. Go and check it out. So straight onto this Hot Wheels then now. It's a Nissan Skyline 2018 model. Well, it's made, this is the funny one on the last upload. I had quite a few people saying it's not made in such and such a year. It's 2018, it was made by Hot Wheels, but it's actually made 1989 to 1994, I think. Pretty good casting, nevertheless, but I do like this car. I do like anything Japanese, to be perfectly honest. So I've started off by doing some decals for this in various ones. I've done the Zexal, the Repsol, this STP Tizen one, which will go onto a black or red car, so the white tones will really stick out. And again on this Calsonic one, again all white toner, it'll look pretty good when it goes onto the darker car later on. So I'm yet to decide which one I'm going to do, but for now I'll crack on, and in my other videos there's already links to how I remove these bodies and take the paint off and everything else like that. So rather than me go and do another 5 or 6 minutes on that, please go into my channel and check it all out. But fairly straightforward. I show you how to drill them out, tap them out, remove the paint and all the rest of it. So here you go, this is where we are with it. Now, I've always enjoyed the Japanese domestic market cars. You know, they came over as grey imports, as we called them here in the UK, and I always loved this Nissan one. I've never actually sat in one of these cars, but I always kind of, I don't know, perved over them, if you like, if you want to go down that route. When I go to these Japanese days that they have, there's quite a few that's been at Donington Park, and I've gone up in my RX-8, but I've always kind of fancied one of these cars. This particular one from Hot Wheels, they mass produced them. They've done them in loads of different colour schemes now over the years. They've got a great casting, so it's fairly new, so there's not a lot of blemishes or anything to worry about on that front. The interiors are pretty good actually, really accurate for the scale they are, really. They are what they are, but I am going to just do a few little modifications to this one. I'm not going to go too over the top this time, because I want to sort of showcase the decals, if you like, and do a little bit of self-promotion. But all I'm going to do on this one is do a very basic interior. I'm not going to go and do too much butchering, well, actually very little of the outside, but for now all I'm going to do is remove the rear seats, or part of the rear seats, and the passenger seat, because at the end of the day, the race cars, aren't they? So they're going to have a bucket seat in there. So I'm just going to quickly use this little coping saw, this little jeweler's saw, and started off by drilling a hole just to get the blade through, and just ease my way through it and just remove them pieces fairly easily. I won't show you how many times I snapped the blade doing this, but believe you me, a slight little twitch on these blades left or right and they do just ping straight off. So it's always good to keep them moving if you want to turn around the corners. So rather than embarrass myself on that front, I think I went through about 5 blades just doing that. But there you go. So for now, what I'm going to do is add a little roll bar to this one. Nothing too over the top and wild, because I'm keeping this little cockpit area as well. And the reason why I'm keeping that is they've got the little stubs, oh, I don't know what to call them, going down, which holds the axles in place. So once I remove the other wheels, it's always kind of easy to keep them intact. So just quickly go around it and give it a little bit of a filing up now with some of these little skinny sticks that I found at a new model show that I went to back in November, which is a lot thinner and a lot smaller than the bigger ones I've used, so you can get in these little nice little nooks and crannies, so they're perfect for this job. So just quickly smooth up the areas that I've cut out, and then for this roll bar then I'm simply going to use some 2mm tube and 1mm rod of styrene. So there you go, you can't get away from it. I'm always going to add it in these videos, you know I'm going to do it. So really easy this time. A couple of little mounting points I'm going to put in, and because I'm using both the base and the cockpit, I'm going to have to sort of do this in 2 pieces, so it's still got to lift out, if you know what I mean, this cockpit. So I'm putting this base points, if you like, into the chassis area. Just using a little bit of thin Tamiya, or extra fine glue, I think it's called, extra thin glue. So just blob that on and just let it seep underneath, just to glue it in situ. And then we've got some pretty basic mounting points, and I've just done one on the front footwell of the what was the passenger side, just to keep it all in place. But as you can see, simply just going to plug in place like that. And as I've done with the other ones in the past, just work my way around the outside of the car with a little bit of bending here and there, offering it up, putting the lid back on, seeing if it all fits, keep trimming it down, bend it a bit more, keep going around. It'll take you about 5 or 6 minutes and you'll have something fairly resembling a roll cage. As I say, I don't want to go too over the top on this specific one at the moment. Just a very basic car I want to do for this video to ease myself back into the new year. But there you go. That's what I mean by keeping the two-piece, if you like. The top part is on the cockpit, the bottom part is on the chassis, so it'll just slide on top if you like. So just going to remove these axles now and add some different rims to the car. And for the rims I'm using some ones that I found on the Shapeways website from a guy I found through Instagram, Hot Wheels Works, HW Works. I think it's Hot Wheels Works. I will find out and put the link straight in the description below. But the great little Compomotive MO replicas, I actually had these on an RS Turbo about 20 odd years ago and they looked the bee's knees then. So not identical to the Yankee ones that were on the R32 on the race car, but it does look pretty good nevertheless, I feel anyway. So better than the standard mainline wheels anyway. So all I'm doing is popping them on a bit of masking tape just to keep them in the same place when I just blow it over a bit of white primer so it doesn't fly off anywhere. But there you go, just do a couple of quick layers. And I've said this many times, I always use a bit of primer just to help the paint along. I know a lot of people don't, but I tend to do it, especially if it's something that's come out of the manufacturing process, 3D printing. They're quite powdery, these ones were. So give them a bit of a clean up and then etch the primer on, and then you're away. So the only modification I'm going to do on the rear of this car is just to replicate the fuel filler neck refills on the race car. It had some big, quick, mega fast release fuel cell thingy-majigs in the boot. So all I'm doing is going to quickly drill a couple of holes in the back, and once I've opened them out a little bit with a file and smoothed them all off and all the rest of it, I've actually used some of these little electrical ferrules that I'll show you now. There's the holes that I've just done, but some of these little electrical ferrules come in different shapes and sizes, but they're absolutely perfect for doing exhausts, which I'll put on later on in the car, which I'll show you at the end. But they've got a lovely little roll tipped end, perfect different scale sizes, so you can use them for exhausts, in this case fuel filler necks, use them as throttle bodies. They're really fine, really precise, lovely little tubes. A little bit fiddly when you have to cut them down, so for this one I'm just going to actually drill some more holes in the back of the cockpit area, which you can't see anyway, so it'll keep it all in place if you like when I squeeze it all in. But there's that little lip I was just talking about, so you can push them straight down and the lip will keep it in place. So I'll give it a nice little chrome effect. So all I'm going to do just to finish this little build, or very quick build off, is just trim away current exhaust off the back of the moulding of the chassis, because I'm going to put these little side exit pipes there to make the race car on in a short while at the end. So I'll just quickly trim this bit off with no drama at all, and we pretty much have the basis of the car I'm going to do. So quickly quick look over of primer before I do the final reveals on the painting and all the rest of it. And here we have a car ready to go in the best colour scheme I think going. With the wheels, and they do like I say, they do look like the Compomotive MO versions. So whilst they're not an exact replica, they do look the part, I think, on this car. So the white anyway. So on to the final piece of this very quick build, and just showcasing some of the clarity you can get from these white toner decals is the calsonic version. And I got a little bit excited at this point, so hence I felt like I had about 10 thumbs all in the way. So there we go. So let's just remind ourselves quickly how the car started off. Really good casting, missing a few finer details like the headlights and stuff. It's just painted the same colour as the car. And for now, I decided to do all 4 different variants: Zexal, Repsol, Calsonic and the STP. Nothing too over the top, all just minor wheel changes and cockpit changes on this front. But what I wanted to showcase more than any is just sort of the clarity I'm getting from these new decals which are now available. And I've done photorealistic headlights as well, so you can get away from painting the rear lights and the front lights. Always best if you back them with a bit of silver paint though, so it does make them sit out a little bit. And they are the different variants of the R32, raced at different points throughout its sort of 5-year reign, mainly in the Australian and Japanese domestic markets. But what I've done, if you look closely now, you can see the missing headlights there on the original one. So here's the calsonic version. Pretty much all white on this one, just with a couple of little finer colours for the little sunshade at the front, sunshade band. And this is how they'll come. And I'll just put a little bit of instructions on the rear as well, just to help people along who've never done it before. And I've even chucked in a little funky sticker as well. Who doesn't like a free sticker, eh? And here we have the Zexal version, pretty much all actually no, there is one part white, which is the sunband again at the front, but all coloured on that one. And you can sort of see the difference in the headlights I'm on about now, just there. And again on the rears are okay on the standard casting, but a bit flat in colour. So there you go, side by side. And the little exhaust pipes there you can just make out. I put them on all of the cars actually. So here you go, here's the Repsol version. Again, changed the wheels slightly on this one and went with a different guy I found again via Instagram on Shapeways, so I'll put them in the description below again. There's the STP Tizen versions. There's a little sticker. And then finally, what is something that I did on my very first video on the Escort is actually just by painting the lower part of the chassis. Here you go. Makes a big difference. Obviously it's black because of the plastic moulding, and just by colour coding that the same colour as the bumper, like I've done on the red version on the Tizen one, the STP one there. It makes a huge difference. So here we go, a nice easy start to the new year with a little foray into the Nissan R32 Skyline. So thank you for all the comments and likes over the past 12 months. Here's looking to the next 12 months. I will make these a little bit quicker. Who's for a wide-bodied version next time?